So we are going to start a new subject from today's lecture. That is, as you can see here, that is design of reinforced concrete structures. We have already covered the structural analysis. Why I am mentioning the name structural analysis? Why? Because in structural analysis, as we have discussed there, we have discussed about the analysis part, right? Why we are analyzing a structure? We are finding the unknown forces or unknown reactions in the structure. Now we are moving further, that we have to design structure for that the forces or reactions we've already found in our structural analysis. That's the purpose of studying structural analysis. So our design of reinforced concrete structures. Forget about that. We are not going to discuss the subject like that. Before starting this subject, before starting any of the subjects in civil engineering or in any streams, you should know why we are studying that subject, right? So we are going to start this subject in that way. I'm going to ask you a question. Why we are studying this subject? Design of reinforced concrete structures. Give your answers. Give your ideas. Why we are studying this design of reinforced concrete structures, or why it is included in our civil engineering. Why it is not there in the mechanical engineering? If you just open your eyes and look around, almost 99% of the structures you are seeing around you. It can be bridges, buildings, tunnels, or any other structures. Almost all the structures, so 99% of the structures you can see around you are made of reinforced cement concrete. So as a civil engineer, we are civil engineers. As a civil engineer, we have to deal with, in one day or another day, we have to deal with this reinforced concrete structure. There is actually a saying among civil engineers, if you know this subject properly, or if you know how to deal with this reinforced cement concrete structures properly, you can survive anywhere in this world as a civil engineer. If you know how to deal with, if you know the behavior of reinforced cement concrete structures under various loads, or if you know the behavior of reinforced cement concrete structures, or if you know how to design reinforced concrete structures, you can survive anywhere in this world as a civil engineer. There's a saying in between among our civil engineers. This subject is that much important in civil engineers' life. Because in the day-to-day life of a civil engineer, in one day or some other day, you have to deal with this subject. So understanding this subject as a civil engineering student or as a civil engineer is very, very important. Forget about that. Talking about our GATE exam, we are here for our GATE exam or other competitive exams. Talking about our GATE exam, there also this subject is very important. Why? Because it is having a weightage around, for GATE exam, I will start with our GATE exam. For GATE exam, you will be having a weightage questions for around 5 to 8 marks. You can expect questions for around 5 to 8 marks. Usually it will vary. In the recent year, that is in 2018, I guess, they have asked questions for around 8 marks in set 2, if I am not wrong. And usually you will be getting questions for around minimum of 5 marks, and maximum till now they have asked for 8 marks. So you can expect questions for around 5 to 8 marks. That's my point. So it's a very good weightage, right? Yes. So you have to study this subject anyhow. It's actually a very simple subject, very interesting to study, and it is very easy to score. You will be getting direct questions from the subject, right? And if you talk about the IES exam, there you will be having a very good weightage, not like 5 to 8 marks. There you can get questions for around 25 to 30 marks. Why we are talking about concrete technology and design of reinforced concrete structures combined together. Okay, this subject is actually very important for the conventional part of the IES exam. This subject and structural analysis is actually very, very important subject for our IES conventional exams. So these are the weightage. You should keep this in your mind while preparing for any competitive exams. If you talk about any other competitive exams, you will be getting many number of questions, not for 8 marks. You will be getting questions for around 10 marks, 15 marks like that. Why? Because as I told you, the subject is very important in civil engineers' life. So you are going to get many number of questions. Basically, practical questions you will be getting in those objective type questions. So this subject is important. Keep this in your mind. I am repeating, this subject is very, very important. Concrete technology plus our design of reinforced concrete structures. Here in this lectures, we will be dealing with our design of reinforced concrete structures, and I will discuss the relevant things from the concrete technology part also. And some of you will ask me, sir, give me some reference books. For those persons, I am going to give you some reference books. If you want to refer something for conceptual clarity and all, you can refer to these books. Design of Reinforced Concrete Structures by Ramamridam. And one more book is there, the same same name with the same name, Design of Reinforced Concrete Structure, given by our N. Subramanian. You can refer to these two books for RCC, Design of Reinforced Concrete Structures, RCC. And for concrete technology, if you are interested, you can go with our textbook written by Shetty. Okay, you can go with that textbook. See, you may be having different number of books. Our Saksham is saying that Pillai and Menon. See, what I'm trying to say is, I will not recommend you to study from these books. You can refer any of the books which you feel it is good. You can refer any of these books. See, what I'm trying to say is, those who are not getting the concepts, those who are having any difficulty in understanding some concepts, of course you can ask me. And in the future, if you are feeling any problem in understanding some concept, or if you need any conceptual clarity, you can just refer to these books. These books are recommended only for reference. Studying from these standard books are not recommended for GATE exam. Remember this. I am not telling you to study from these reference books. These reference books can be kept with you only for reference. Suppose you are having a doubt, I am here to clear the doubts. You can ask me. Suppose if I am not available for clearing your doubts, you can refer to the textbooks. That's it. That's it. Okay, that's the purpose of this reference books. Don't study from this reference book. For studying this subject, for understanding this subject, watch the lectures, solve the, understand the questions we are going to discuss in the class, or practice the questions, solve the previous GATE questions, and solve the test series questions, which will be more than enough for GATE exam. Understanding this, keep it in your mind. Okay. So we are going to start this subject, that is design of reinforced concrete structures. We already know what is structure, right? So now I'm going to start this subject in this way. I'm going to start by explaining this term. What is concrete? Give an idea. What is concrete? You have already studied it in your college classes, right? What is concrete? I don't need a definition actually. What you know that I want to hear. Yes. Exactly. Yes, you are right. What is concrete actually? Concrete is actually defined as as you people are saying, it's a mixture of I'm going to start with our coarse aggregate. It's a mixture of coarse aggregate and fine aggregate is also there, and cement will also be there, and finally water will also be there, right? Or instead of saying it as a mixture of these components, I am going to tell like this. These are the basic components of concrete. What is the role of this coarse aggregate in concrete? Anyone? Or what is the role of fine aggregate? What is the role of cement? Or what is the role of water? What is the role of these basic components in concrete? You would understand that. What is the role of these basic components? What is the role of this coarse aggregate? What is the role of fine aggregate? What is the role of cement? What is the role of water in concrete? Yes. Very good. Binding agent. See, I am starting with this coarse aggregate. What is coarse aggregate? This coarse aggregate will actually form the body of concrete. See, if I take, and I am considering a mass of concrete, you will be having the coarse aggregates like this. These are the coarse aggregates. This will actually form the body of the concrete. Almost 90% of the volume of the concrete you are seeing is actually our coarse aggregate. See, when you see the coarse aggregate here, you can see the void spaces in between. There will be void spaces or empty spaces in between the coarse aggregates. This fine aggregates will fill the voids between the coarse aggregates. Ca means coarse aggregate, right? So these fine aggregates here will fill the voids between the coarse aggregate, right? That statement is actually partially right. I will say that is partially right. Why? Because cement itself is not a binding material. Cement, when reacts with water, will show its binding property. It will bind our coarse aggregate and fine aggregate together. We will get a hardened mass as the time passes. That hardened mass I will be getting over the time is called our concrete. right now. So the cement and water, we have to discuss these two terms together, that is cement and water. This will give the binding property, or this will cause the binding of these materials, or the binding material. These two will together act as the binding material. Binding material, that is coarse aggregate and fine aggregate will be combined together, right? The why it is, I mean, how it is giving a binding action? The process here is called hydration of cement. You might be already knowing this, right? So the process here is called our hydration of cement. What is hydration of cement? The reaction of water with cement is called our hydration of cement. Due to hydration, some compounds will be generated. What are the compounds which we are going to get there? We will be getting tricalcium silicate. Dicalcium silicate. We will be getting tetracalcium aluminoferrate and tricalcium aluminate and tetracalcium aluminoferrate. Right? These are the compounds which are going to be obtained due to the reaction between water and cement. These compounds are actually the reason of the strength and the different properties of the concrete, strength and our setting time of the concrete. This is actually not required for us, but if you want to remember, you can remember. This is actually a part of concrete technology, not the part of RCC, but still I wanted to mention this, right? These are called our bogus compounds. If you want to remember, these are called our bogus compounds. The compounds obtained due to the hydration of cement are called our bogus compounds. C3S, that is tricalcium silicate. C2S, that is dicalcium silicate. C3A, tricalcium aluminate. C4AF, tetracalcium aluminoferrate. Name is not that much important. You have to remember this C3S, C2S, C3A and C4AF. You have to remember the role of these components also. Right? C3S will be responsible for initial strength, and for later strength there is C2S and C3A for setting time. Those kind of properties are there. You can refer to any of the standard books. Okay. So this, when the water reacts with cement, it will show its binding property. That's what we have to discuss here. Right? So these are the basic components in concrete. And some of you will ask me, sir, why you are not discussing about admixtures? Before that, let me ask you, what is admixture? Admixtures are the chemicals, increases the strength. See, what is actually concrete? Just let's take all the points here. See, what is the role of admixtures? Some of you are saying that it is a chemical substance, right? I forgot your name, sorry for that. See, it's a chemical substance. Of course, it is a chemical substance. This is not actually the basic component of concrete. This is not a basic component of concrete. The basic component of concretes are CA, that is coarse aggregate, fine aggregate, cement and water. Admixtures are actually some additives, or we can call it as our external substances. If we need it, we can add that to the concrete. Why we are adding that? We are adding that to influence some properties of concrete. See, to discuss that, we need to understand what are the properties of concrete. Most of you are saying that workability, strength, setting time, etc. Yes, you are right. See, when we prepare the concrete, if it is very difficult for us to work with that concrete, then we will say that the concrete is not workable. Workability means it is the easiness to work with that concrete. That is easiness to mix the concrete, take the concrete, place the concrete, transfer the concrete. If it is easy for us to work with that concrete, we are going to say as workable concrete. It is always necessary to have a workable concrete. If the concrete is not workable, we can add certain chemical substances to the concrete to influence that property. What is the property there? Workability. So to improve the workability, I can add certain chemical substances to improve that workability of the concrete. So those chemical substances added can be called as admixtures. If you want, if you are asking me an example for that, air entraining admixtures, which will create some bubbles inside the concrete. That bubbles will reduce the internal friction between the particles. This is when the internal friction between the particles is reduced, workability can be improved. So it is an example, that is air entraining agents can be considered as an example for admixtures which will improve the workability. Some of you were talking about the setting time of the concrete, right? Yes, Tanvir, you are right. You are right. So setting time of the concrete. How to improve the setting time? Suppose usually the setting time of concrete will be around half an hour. That variation is there, no? That 10 hours timing is there, right? So if I want to increase that time, that means I want to retard this reaction between the cement and the water. So how to retard that? In order to retard, we can add certain chemical substances to influence that property, that is setting time. That chemical substances added externally to influence that property called setting time is also called admixtures. If I want to reduce the setting time, that means I have to increase the rate of reaction between the cement and water. If I want to increase the rate of hydration, that increase the rate of reaction between this cement and water, I can add certain chemicals. Tanvir is saying that calcium chloride. Yes, that's an example. If I want to improve, if I want to increase the rate of reaction between the cement and water, I can add calcium chloride or NaCl, sodium chloride, so that I can improve the rate of reaction between the cement and water. By that we can reduce the setting time. So we can consider that also under the heading admixtures. In general, admixtures are any chemical substance which are added to the concrete to influence any of these properties, like that strength, like workability, like setting time of the concrete. This is actually purely optional. If I want to add that, I can add this, right? So basic compounds of concretes are like this: coarse aggregate, fine aggregate, cement and water. Remember this, cement itself is not a binding material. When it reacts with water, it will show its binding property, and the reaction between this cement and water is known as hydration of cement. These are the compounds which I am going to get due to the hydration of cement. These are called bogus compounds: tricalcium silicate, dicalcium silicate, tricalcium aluminate and tetracalcium aluminoferrate. Right? Go for this. Now discussing about, we are moving further to this reinforced cement concrete. Why we need reinforcement inside the concrete? Anyone? Why we need reinforcements inside the concrete? Or what we have, when we have concrete, why we need reinforced cement concrete? Or what is the purpose of reinforcement in concrete? To resist the tensile force, stress. See, to understand that, I am going to discuss that concept in this way. To understand this, we have to discuss about the properties of concrete. To discuss the properties of concrete, we have to consider the concrete in its different stages. Concrete in its fresh state and concrete in its hardened state. What is fresh concrete? What is fresh concrete? The concrete immediately after preparation, right? Concrete immediately after preparing, that is called our fresh concrete. And hardened concrete is also there. As the time passes, this concrete mass will get hardened, and the mass I am getting there is called hardened concrete. So we are going to discuss the properties of this fresh concrete and hardened concrete. You might have already studied this. What are the properties of fresh concrete which I should consider? Just we have discussed about the workability of the concrete. I discussed it. And similar to that, similar to workability, we have our setting time of concrete. If you want, we can discuss about the segregation of concrete also. What is segregation? Anyone? And we have our bleeding. These are not properties actually. These are the defects in concrete. But I am going to discuss it under the heading the properties of the fresh concrete. Right? So what is this segregation? What is segregation? Anyone? Angit? Yes, leakage. Leakage of what? You are right. You are right. See, segregation is actually, as I told you, we will be having different components, no? That is coarse aggregate, fine aggregates, water, cement, and our admixtures. When all these components are mixed together, that mixture I am getting there is called our concrete or fresh concrete. Yes, this is saying that of water. No, don't write. So actually, that's the meaning of our bleeding. That's bleeding actually. Okay, it's okay. Right. When this actually the mixture of these components I'm getting there is called our fresh concrete, right? when these components are separated, that's force aggregate or fine aggregates is separated from the concrete will not be getting the required strength. So when these components are separated from the concrete, that process is called our segregation of the concrete. So it is actually a fault or defect in our fresh concrete. Similar to that, or similarly that bleeding. What is bleeding? Just like our Angit said, bleeding is actually the separation of water from the concrete. See, if I am considering one portion like this, and if we have the concrete like this, we have the concrete like this, and if the water from the concrete is getting separated or the water is rising towards the surface, then that is called our that is called bleeding of the concrete. That is called bleeding of the concrete. These are actually the properties of concrete. Just understand this. That's enough, right? Coming to the properties of concrete in hardened state, you people are saying that strength of the concrete. You are absolutely right. Strength of the concrete is one of the most important property of our concrete. Strength means compressive strength will be there, tensile strength will be there, shear strength will be there, etc. So the strength which we have to consider there is compressive strength of the concrete, tensile strength of the concrete, and our is shear strength of the concrete. When we compare these three, that is compressive strength of the concrete, tensile strength of the concrete, and shear strength of the concrete, which is more significant in concrete? When we compare these three, that is compressive strength, tensile strength, and shear strength, which is more significant? Anyone? Yes, compressive strength of the concrete is more significant. Why? Why? Because concrete is a brittle material. The compressive strength of the concrete is much higher, or the compressive strength of the concrete is very important compared to the other strength like tensile strength of the concrete and shear strength of the concrete. I am going to consider the properties of the concrete in hardened state only. We were discussing about the need of reinforcement in concrete, right? We have discussed now the compressive strength of the concrete is more significant. Why? Because concrete is a brittle material. Compressive strength is much higher. Compressive strength of the concrete is more significant compared to other properties of the concrete, and it is generally found that tensile strength of the concrete is almost equal to 1/10 of the compressive strength of the concrete. It is generally observed that the tensile strength of the concrete is around 1/10 of the compressive strength of the concrete, which means that compressive strength is very high compared to the tensile strength. When we use our concrete, I'm talking about this concrete, now reinforced concrete. When we use this plain concrete in our structure, what will happen? We have discussed in analysis of structures, or you might have already studied in structural analysis. When we apply some loads on the structure, different kind of responses will be there. There will be bending moment will be generated in the structure. There will be twisting moments will be generated in the structure. There will be direct compression will be there. There will be bending compression will be there. Bending tension will be there, or direct tension will be there. So those are the different kind of forces acting on the structure. It's not only compression but also tensile forces will also coming on the structure. Right now, so if I use concrete as a building material, for concrete tensile strength is very less. Can I use concrete alone as a building material? No. Why? Because concrete is weak in carrying the tensile forces as it is a brittle material, but it is strong in compression. Concrete is strong in compression but weak in carrying the tensile forces. Concrete is strong in compression but it is weak in carrying the tensile forces. If you want more explanation, for example, if I am taking a beam like this, I am considering a simply supported beam here. This is a simply supported beam made of our plain concrete. This is a simply supported beam made of our plain concrete, and I am going to apply one load exactly at the center. W, I am applying this load exactly at the center. When I am applying the load, what is going to happen? When I apply the load, what is going to happen? Yes, the beam is going to deflect. Let this be the deflected beam. There will be neutral axis. This will be, let us say, this will be the neutral axis of the beam. And tell me, when it was a beam, I have applied one load, the beam is bending like this. what is happening in this beam? See, you can see here, above the neutral axis, what is happening? Is it stretching or contracting? Above the neutral axis, what is happening? Is it stretching or contracting? Above the neutral axis. Above the neutral axis, there will be contraction will be there. The fibers there above the neutral axis will be contracting or they will be compressing. Yes, Nisha, you are right. Yes, you are right. You are right. So there will be they will be contracting. Contracting means the nature of stresses here will be generated here will be compressive in nature. The nature of stresses here will be compressive in nature. And tell me the portion of the concrete below the neutral axis. Below the neutral axis, what is going to happen? Or what will be happening below the neutral axis? The members, the fibers there, are they contracting or expanding? Exactly, they are expanding, or I can say they will be stretching. They will be stretching. Due to this stretching, what kind of forces will be generated there? What kind of stresses will be generated there? Exactly, tensile stresses will be generated below the neutral axis. You will be having the tensile stresses like this. You will be having the tensile stresses like this. The nature of stresses below the neutral axis will be tensile in nature. If you want, I will draw the figure here. This is the deflected beam. This is the deflected beam. We will be having the deflected beam like this. And this is our support. This is our support. And this is our applied load. Initially the beam was straight. This is after deflection, after deformation, right? Above the neutral axis there will be compressive stresses. Above the neutral axis there will be compressive stresses, and below the neutral axis the nature of forces or the nature of stresses will be tensile in nature. Now tell me, concrete is strong in carrying the compressive forces, but it is weak in tensile forces, right? When we prepare a concrete like this, when we prepare a beam like this, there below the neutral axis there will be tensile stresses, above the neutral axis there will be compressive stresses. As the load increases, or when we are applying more loads, this compressive stress will get increased, and concrete will not be, the tensile stress below the neutral axis will get increased. Our concrete cannot carry the tensile stresses. Concrete will start failing like this, right? Concrete cannot carry that tensile stress, that the concrete is going to get failed. And you can see here, concrete is a brittle material, and due to this brittleness, the nature of failure is going to be sudden, or the sudden failure is going to occur in the structure. Nature of failure is going to be sudden. If you are sitting under a beam which is made of plain cement concrete, and if suppose a huge load is acting on that beam, the beam will fail, or beam will fail like this. You will not get enough time to escape from this. You cannot notice that, okay, this beam is failing. Why? Because the concrete, plain cement concrete is actually, the behavior is brittle. There is ductility is very less. So it is going to fail like that. Nature of failure will be brittle in nature, and the type of failure will be sudden. There will be sudden failure in the beam. Then tell me how we can rectify this. We are just moving towards the term reinforcement. How we can rectify this? Or how we can improve the tensile strength of the concrete? How we can improve the tensile strength of the concrete? Any ideas? Yes, you are right. What is reinforcement? See, we can avoid this problem, or we can neglect this problem only by one way. What is that way? We should improve the tensile strength of the concrete. How we can do that? We can do that, we have to use concrete as our building material, but we have to improve the tensile strength of the concrete. How we can do that? We are going to do like this. I am going to consider our same simply supported beam. This is our same simply supported beam here. This is our neutral axis. As we know, below the neutral axis, due to loading, compressive stresses are going to get generated, and tensile stresses are going to get generated. Above the neutral axis, there will be compressive stresses. So what I am going to do is, in order to improve the tensile strength, I am going to introduce some material in this region. I'm going to introduce some material in this region to take care of that to take care of that tensile load. If I apply the load, of course it is going to deflect the, suppose this is the deflected profile, or suppose this is a deflected beam portion. This, I'm taking this as the deflected portion. This is actually our neutral axis, and we'll be having the reinforcement like this. And above the neutral axis, as we discussed, there will be compressive stresses. Below the neutral axis, there will be tensile stresses. Concrete is strong in carrying the compressive stresses, but it is very weak in carrying the tensile stresses. But we know what will happen if the load is increased, right? But here in this beam, we have some more person. We have one more guy here to take care of the tensile strength. Who is that? That guy is known as, the name of the guy is reinforcement. Our reinforcement is going to take care of that tensile stresses which are going to be generated in the tension zone of this beam. Reinforcement is actually anything which is introduced in some other material to improve certain property of that material. Here we have concrete. We need to improve the tensile strength of the concrete. I am introducing something externally. I am introducing something inside this concrete to improve the tensile strength of the concrete. So the thing which I introduced, that's called reinforcement, to improve the tensile strength. We are introducing that material to improve the tensile strength. The material which I introduced inside to improve the tensile strength is called our reinforcement. Right now, reinforcements are introduced in the concrete to improve the tensile strength of the concrete. Why? Because concrete is very weak in carrying the tensile strength stresses, but it is strong in compression. So you have to help concrete to carry the tensile stresses. We are helping concrete by introducing certain external materials to improve that, to take care of that tensile stresses. So that's the role of our reinforcement inside the concrete. So we rectified the drawback of concrete. What was the drawback of concrete? Concrete was weak in carrying the tensile stresses. In structure, we have to deal with the tensile stresses also. So in order to make it strong in tension, we are going to introduce what? Reinforcement inside the concrete. Right now? Yes. Go for it. If you want, you can write it. Reinforcement concrete is a composite material who is it alloy, right? Maybe. Yes, you are right. Reinforcement is a composite material. Why? Because it's a combination of these two materials, concrete and reinforcement, and it will improve the tensile strength. You are right. And it will improve the ductility also. You are right. You are right. Drawbacks is the drawback of concrete is actually, see, you can see it here. The drawback of concrete is actually it is strong in compression. It's actually an advantage, but it is very weak in carrying the tensile strength, right? Tensile stresses. The main drawback is the tensile strength of the concrete is very, very less. The tensile strength of the concrete is very, very less, right? And if you need further information, so if I increase the load here, the nature of failure will not be brittle. Why? Because when I introduce something inside, that is reinforcement, due to the presence of this reinforcement, the ductility of this beam is going to be improved. The ductility will be more compared to this plain cement concrete beam. As the ductility is more, the nature of failure will not be sudden, and the nature of failure will be progressive in nature. The nature of failure will be progressive in nature, which means that you can see the minute cracks progressing from the bottom of the reinforcement. If I increase the load further, these cracks will get widened, and finally it is going to fade. But you will get enough time to understand this beam is failing, right? That's advantage. These are the advantage I'll be getting if I introduce reinforcement inside the concrete. So we can improve the ductility of the concrete. We can see the nature of failure will become the progressive in nature. Right now.